Hello, and welcome to a quick video about my Brompton. Stick around. Well, hello. As you know, I recently purchased a Brompton, and you can see the Brompton here. These are the handlebars. And what I wanted to do was attach a Wahoo, which I'm holding up here for you, a Wahoo being a cycle computer. And you might want to use a Garmin or a Hammerhead or a Brighton or one of the other cycle computers that are available on the market. But my one of choice is the Wahoo Element Bolt. So the question is, how do you attach it to the handlebars? Now, the first thing to say is that many people use their phone instead of a cycle computer on their Brompton, and they attach it here on the handlebars. And if you have any phone, I think you can use the quad lock system, and you can buy a quad lock handlebar connector from Brompton or other places, which is basically bolted on to the handlebars here, and to that you affix your phone on the quad lock, which Chris Froome is pumping. I think he's invested in it, so he's selling it anyway. That's by the by. But I don't use the quad lock system. I use the Peak Design system. And although they do have a bicycle mount, I haven't purchased it. So I also am not a person who uses their phone on the bicycle, and therefore I wasn't particularly keen on using my phone on the Brompton. So that particular solution was out of my line of sight. So my first thought was to use a Wahoo out front mount, such as this one. And if I was to install it out front, as the mount is designed to be used, I thought that would create a problem when I was folding the bike and it would get in the way of the handlebars. So, solution, turn it round like that, which I've seen in somebody else's Brompton video, and then you mount the Wahoo on that. So that seemed like a solution, but you may notice, you may be able to see, let me just turn this round, that the size of handlebar that is intended for this out front mount is rather bigger than the size of the Brompton handlebars. So I thought, well, I can use various kind of shims or adapters. For example, there I've inserted one which makes this hole a little bit smaller. But whatever I did, and whatever combination of shims that I use, I could not get it to fit onto the handlebar. It was either still too big, or I managed to get it to fit, but then I couldn't do up the screw on the out front mount. So I was getting a little bit frustrated, and I ended up chucking the out front mount in the bin, which I then had to get out again so I could do this video. So my next thought then was to use one of these mounts, which you get when you buy the Wahoo, and I think you get a similar thing when you get a Garmin. And this is attached using a couple of cable ties, such as here. So I thought what I'll do is I'll put it over the center bolt, not the center bolt, but I'll put it over the handlebar bolt there, and I'll attach that with the cable ties, which I did, and it worked fine. But in order to cinch it down tightly onto this handlebar bolt, which you can see underneath, it pushed up the center of the Wahoo mount. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just kind of pushing it up with my finger, so it's sort of vibrating in a rather strange manner. But in doing so, in pushing up that center part, I then couldn't install the Wahoo because there wasn't enough room to put the Wahoo connector into the mount. So then I thought, I'll install this Wahoo mount, just moving around here, on the front of the stem here. Don't know if you can see that. And I would attach that with the cable ties. And that worked. Okay, so that's what the thing that I first did. So I have the mount here. I had it attached on here to the front of the stem using the cable ties, and I attached the Wahoo to that. So let me just turn the camera around so you can see that. So the mount was attached here on the stem, and I could attach the Wahoo to that, and that worked quite well. But I then purchased a bag which goes onto the handlebars and is attached by a magnet. And the magnet, which holds it to the front of the stem, was having trouble attaching because the cable tie clips were in the way. So I moved it further up the stem, closer to the handlebars, and that sorted out the problem. So I thought, okay, well, yeah, that works. But then I thought, well, aesthetically, that is not really entirely pleasing, because I've got my cable ties on view. And if you are a Brompton rider, then you will know that one of the things you are not allowed to do, and it's actually written in the instruction book, is have your cable ties on view. So I searched through my box of bits, and I found this Wahoo mount, which I think I had from an earlier Wahoo. And this, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, is connected onto your handlebars or whatever using two of these rubber, are these O-rings? I think they're O-rings as opposed to elastic bands. The difference kind of is that elastic bands can kind of stretch quite a long way, whereas an O-ring like this can only stretch a certain amount of way. I'm not quite sure what that is, why that is. If you know the answer, leave a comment down below, as always. So what I did, and again I'm recreating this for your benefit, because I had put it on and then I took it off again, is to put the mount on top of the center bolt and then attach it with the two O-rings. So I've put on the first O-ring, now I'm putting on the second O-ring like that. And that is over the handlebar bolt there, you can see. But because the O-rings hold it tightly but not too tightly, it's possible to attach the Wahoo, because the connector at the base of the Wahoo, as you can see, has enough purchase, says he. It worked when I did it yesterday. It seems to be working now. Let me just... There we are, sorry. I was having trouble getting it in, as they say. But I've now got, as you can see, the Wahoo bolt attached to the handlebars using that connector. And that does not interfere with the unfolding of the bike, because when you want to unfold it, you simply remove the Wahoo and this nice, neat solution works fine. So, there we are. Installation of a Wahoo mount onto Brompton handlebars. Hope you found that useful, because you may have the same difficulty as I did, or the same thoughts as I did, which is that you want to use your computer on your bicycle as opposed to your phone, and you were struggling to find a solution. Maybe you already found a solution, and this video has therefore been a complete waste of time, but I hope some of you may have found it useful. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now, you may wonder, you've seen quite a lot of stuff now about the Brompton, but the one thing you haven't seen is me riding it. So it is going to happen, folks. It is going to happen. So keep watching this channel. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because you don't want to miss Julian's first ride on the Brompton. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.